Thank you guys for joining me once again. My name is Wolf, and last time we left off, the hobbits just got captured, and the trolls were ready to eat them. So let's continue. It was just then that Gandalf came back, but no one saw him. The trolls had decided to roast the dwarves now and eat them later. That was Bert's idea. And after a lot of argument, they had agreed to do it. No roasting them. Now, it'd take all night, said a voice. Bert thought it was Williams. Don't start the argument all over again, Bill, or it will take all night. Who's arguing, said William, who thought it was Bert that was spoken. You are! You're a liar, said William. And so the argument began all over again. In the end, they decided to mince them and fine and boil them. So they got a black pot and they got out the knives. No good boiling them. We ain't got no water. And it's a long way to a whale and all, said a voice. Bert and William thought it was Tom's. Shut up, said they, or we'll never have done. And you can fetch the water yourself if you say that anymore. Shut up yourself, said Tom, who thought it was William's voice. Who's arguing about you? I'd like to know. You're a booby, said it. William. Booby yourself, said Tom. And so the argument began all over again and went on hotter than ever, until at last decided to sit on the sacks one by one and squash them and boil them next time. Who shall we sit on first? Said the voice. Better sit on the last fellow first, said Bert, whose eye had been damaged by Thorin. He thought Tom was talking. Don't talk to yourself, said Tom. But he wants to sit on the last one. Sit on him. Which is he? The one with the yellow stockings, said Bert. Nonsense, the one with the gray stockings, said a voice like William's. I made sure it was yellow, said Bert. Yellow it was, said William. Then what did you say it was gray for? Said Bert. I never did. Tom did. That I never did. It was you. 2-1, so shut your mouth. Who are you talking to? Said William. Now stop it, Tom and Bert said together. Night's getting on and dawn comes early. Let's get on with it. God take you all, and be stoned to you, said a voice that sounded like William's, but it wasn't. For a moment, at that moment, the light came over the hill, and there was a mighty twitter in the branches. William never spoke, for he stood to stone as he stooped, and Bert and Tom were stuck like rocks as they looked at him. And there they stand to this day, all alone, unless birds perch on them. For trolls, as you probably know, must be underground before dawn, or they go back to the stuff of the mountains they are made of and never move again. And that is what happened to Bert and Tom and William. Excellent, said Gandalf as he stepped from behind a tree and helped Bilbo to climb down out of the thorn bush. Then Bilbo understood. It was the wizard voice that had kept the trolls bickering and quarreling until the light came and made an end of them. The next thing was to untie the sacks and let out the dwarves. They were nearly suffocated and very annoyed. They had not at all enjoyed lying there listening to trolls make plans for roasting them and squashing them and mincing them. They had to hear Bilbo's account of what happened to them twice over before they were satisfied. Silly time to go practicing and pinching and pocket picking, said Bumper, when what we wanted was a fire and food. And that's just what you won't have got of those fellows without struggle in any case, said Gandalf. Anyhow, you are wasting time now. Don't you realize that the trolls have a cave or a hole dug somewhere near to hide from the sun in? We must look in it. They searched about and soon found the marks of a troll's stony boots going away through the trees. They followed the tracks up the hill until, hidden by bushes, they came to a big door of stone leading to a cave. But they couldn't open it. Not though that they all pushed while Gandalf tried various incantations. Will this do any good? Asked Bilbo when they were tired and angry. I found it on the ground where the trolls had their fight. He held up a largest key, though no doubt William had thought it was very small and secret. It must have fallen out of his pocket, very luckily, before he was turned to stone. Why on earth did you mention it before? They cried. Gandalf grabbed it and lifted it up to the keyhole. Then the door swung back with a one big push, and they all went inside. There were bones on the floor and a nasty smell in the air, but there was a good deal of food jumbled carelessly on shelves and on the ground. Among an untidy litter of plunder, all sorts from brass pots to pots full of gold coins standing in the corner. There were lots of clothes too, hanging on the walls, too small for trolls. I'm afraid they belonged to victims, and among them were several swords of various makes, shapes, and sizes. Two caught their eyes particularly because of their beautiful scabbards and jeweled hilts. Gandalf and Thorin each took one of these, and Bilbo took a knife in a leather sheath. It would have made it only a tiny pocket knife for a troll, but it was as a good as a short sword for the Hobbit. These looked like good blades, said Wizard. After all, and then looked at them curiously. They were not made by any troll, nor any smith among men in these parts and days. But when we can read the runes on them, we shall know more about them. Let's get out of this horrible smell, said Feely. So they carried out the pots of coins and such food as was untouched and looked fit to eat. One barrel of ale, which was still full. By the time they felt like breaking fast and being very hungry, they did not turn their noses up at what they had got from the troll's larder. Their own provisions were very scanty. Now they had bread and cheese and plenty of ale and bacon to toast in the embers of the fire. After that they slept, for the night had been disturbed, and they did nothing more till the afternoon. Then they brought up their ponies and carried away the pots of gold and buried them secretly not far from the track by the river, putting a great many spells over them, just in case they had ever had a chance to come back and recover them. When that was done, they all mounted once more and jogged along the path on the path toward the east. Where did you go to, if I may ask? Said Thorin to Gandalf as they rode along. To look ahead, said he. And what brought you back in nick of time? Looking behind, said he. Exactly. But could you be more plain? I went on to spy a road. It will soon become dangerous and difficult. Also, I was anxious about replenishing our small stock of provisions. I had not gone very far when I met a couple of friends of mine from Rivendell. Where's that? Don't interrupt, said Gandalf. You will get there in a few days from now, if we're lucky, and find out all about it. As I was saying, I met two of Elrond's people. They were hurrying about for fear of trolls. It was they who told me about the three of them had come down from the mountains and settled in the wood not far from the room. They had frightened everyone away from the district, and they waylaid strangers. I immediately had a feeling that I was wanted back. Looking behind, I saw a fire in the distance and made for it. So now you know. Please be more careful next time, or we should never get anywhere. Thank you, said Thorin. And we'll stop there, because that is the end of Chapter 2. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.